I didn't want Pappu as Prime Minister.
You didn't want Pappu as Prime Minister. That's the most directly political statement you made.
No, I'm saying I support the BJP.
There are 4 screens there, 5 screens. You want to just quickly, briefly tell us which one does what?
Well, these are all the BSc NSC live screens
Right.
where I track the prices.
Right.
Right.
So the first one here on the left
These
is
are
your
all my
portfolio.
Is my investments.
Right.
These are the futures.
That-
First of all, the stock market is fire. It's arg. It's not easy. ये बाजार से पैसा कमा के ले जाना. It's very exciting. But remember, it's not the race course. Predict. What is the market? It's a prediction. I try to predict. And I'm right sometimes, I'm wrong sometimes. When I'm right, I feel very elated. When I'm wrong, I learn. The biggest cost of a mistake is not learning from it. And I'm not afraid to make a mistake. Only one is which I can afford, so that I may live to make another one. If I'm afraid to make a mistake, I won't decide. I can't do anything. Markets and cooking, they can't be taught, they have to be learned. And you see,
You know, for those that are still relatively new to your story, they don't know you came to the stock markets with 5,000 rupees back in 1986, how much you had to convince your father that this is what you wanted to do, and the kind of risks you took early in your career before you struck lucky with Tata Tea, I think it was initially. Tell us about your journey, those turning points.
well, I think first turning point was at 5,000 rupees, but my brother was a practicing chartered accountant. And he introduced me to some of his clients, and I explained to them, and there's a Christian gentleman who had, who gave me 10 lakhs of rupees, right? And I used to give him 24% interest at that time. So the first way of getting capital was through the introductions and confidence my brother gave to his clients. And therefore I could raise about 15 lakhs of rupees, and I made about 40-50 lakhs of that in 2 years. And then I think the real second turning point was the budget of Mandu Danvate. Because there was extreme bearishness in the market. And the biggest players in the market told me that if he abolishes income tax, the index will go to 400 and 460 and back will go to 300. That was a kind of, and I knew that, VP Singh was the Prime Minister, and he was a man who, abolished estate duty, brought down rates of tax from 90%. So I realized that he will not give a budget which is unfriendly to business. Although he was a Thakur, he understood business. So say in 89, before the budget, my net worth was 2 crores. And I staked it all in the evening, I was worth 20 crores. And, my wife and material never asked me for anything except when we will have air conditioners in the house. So at 2:30 in the night, I went and told her, my wife asked me, क्या हुआ? मैं बोला अपने AC आ गए. So, and then it was, I got company of good friends like Mr. Damani, Radhakishan Damani, Ramesh Damani, Kamal Kabra. I learned right things in life. We should do the correct things, read, experience, learn. And then it's been a steady journey. And the quest to learn is a journey. It's not a destination. So I have much learned, but I'm still learning every day. I remember the index Teji started at 600. Then I think it went to 1800. Then came the Gulf War, right? The index came back to 1100, 1200. And then came Mr. Mehta, the great Mr. Arshad Mehta, right? So initially when the stock, we bought ACC. I had taken delivery, I remember, of some 15,000 shares of ACC at 300. We sold at 2,800, 2,900, 3,200, 3,300. Price came back to 2,300, 2,400. Then it came back 3,500, we all shorted. Then one cold afternoon, I all short, and price, I went and cut all my shorts. Then we made money in the rise. And then we knew all this thievery money. When the market came down, we made the money of our life. And then, trading, investing, cooking, it can't be taught, it has to be learned. And it has to be learned on the field.
There are 4 screens there, 5 screens. You want to just quickly, briefly tell us which one does what?
Well, these are all the BSE NSE live screens
Right.
where I track the prices.
Right.
Right.
So the first one here on the left
These
is
are
your
all my
portfolio.
Is my investments.
Right.
These are the futures.
There are 31 scripts there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Except sale, I think all of them are my investment. The last one.
Okay.
These are all some shares in which I have some short-term positions.
Right.
And these are the just some company whose prices I want to follow.
Right.
These are the futures what I trade. Right. This is the live Reuters screen where I get information, and some other markets and prices I follow, mainly news. And this is the internet.
Right. So this is this?
And there I have the television.
Right.
I think got to know you in the 1990s in the ring of the old Bombay Stock Exchange, and 20 years since then, there's one maxim that stands out about you, that you've said it in numerous parties, bars, in the ring, and I'll say it in colloquial and then translate it in English. It says, "Vadhare vadhare levanu, ghatare ghatare bechwanu." That means buy as the market is rising, sell as the market is falling. What is the wisdom in that, and how do you use it?
See, Ramesh, I don't think for a good trader, I think we don't initiate more than 40% of trades which are right. Right, suppose I'm bullish, say, on XYZ stock. Now I buy that stock. If it goes up, it's an indication of the fact that I'm right. And we do what I call is pyramiding. I buy stock at 100, I buy more at 105, I buy more at 110. So what are markets, what is trading is basically momentum. So you play momentum. So if the market is rising, its momentum is upwards. So you buy on the rise. If markets are going down, you sell on the fall. And this I don't mind. I don't indicate in long-term trends and medium-term trends and short-term trends. This applies to short-term trends, medium-term trends, and long-term trends.
So you should never average a losing trading position?
Well, at your own cost. Never. At least I never do it.
That's a huge mistake, isn't it?
Unless and until we believe, suppose I buy a stock at 90 and I feel it's going to have a big upside, and the fall is 4-5%, I might average.
Or temporary.
But as a rule in trading, I will never ever average.
But Rakesh, are you then saying that a good trader should have this highest position outstanding at the highest price?
Absolutely. Why not? Who knows what is the highest price?
It's counterintuitive though, isn't it? I mean, most people with good profits.
That's why out of 1 million traders, only 90 or 100 really make money.
What would you look for?
I would look for, first of all, look for broad direction. Don't try to be an expert. Don't try to predict every move, every hour, every day. Right? Take a loss. Know what to stake. Right? I think this is, I feel confident to trade anywhere in the world. All what you need to have is a broad direction of the trend. Right? A very broad idea. Don't try to be an expert in it. Right? Know what to stake and when to take a loss.
Rakesh, most people can't hold on to trading profits, right? Isn't that the big problem?
Well, it's a problem, but who knows, I don't know, I watch on this TV targets. What are targets? Who can predict anything? See, when I buy a stock, there comes a level at which I also feel that the price is unreasonable. But at that moment, I'm alert. That unreasonableness has to be combined with technical weakness. Then only is only the move exhausted. So what is the profit?
That means the lower tops, for example, or poor volumes, or bad price action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things like that.
General trend. And then the general belief of, just believe in the market, just go up, there's no tomorrow.
Trees don't go to the sky. Rakesh, the other thing that all good traders always pronounce is know how to take a loss. Why is that so important in your...
Because, see, nobody can predict momentum. It can turn. We never know, all big moves start with small moves. Right? And therefore, the price is the first indicator of what is coming. So if I do a trade, so I buy XYZ stock at 100, and it goes to 120 and I buy more, don't worry, by the time it is 90, it will be all squared up.
You take
get unease, I can't sleep. I can't eat, I get such unease. And sometimes when the market is against me, I'm uneasy up till 9:15. And 9:45, it's squared off, you're fine. In my career also, I've earned money in trading. It's not that every year I made money. If I made it in sports, right? And I've made it in certain periods, 89 to 92, 2003 to 2007, 2009, 10, 10, 11 has been a good year. So I've made it in spurts, say 94 to 99, I wouldn't have made any trading income.
The idea is always, as you said, to when the iron is hot, strike.
Absolutely.
You saw, Rakesh, nothing good in the regimes before this? I mean, nobody did anything
जो
else?
हो गया वो हो गया, जाने दो ना क्या है. I didn't want Pappu as Prime Minister.
You didn't want Pappu as Prime Minister. That's the most directly political statement you made.
No, I'm saying I support the BJP here. So I don't want him as Prime Minister. I don't want him as Congress.
Fair enough.
His attitude of letting me do what I want.
But that's actually going to be my next question. I have to commend him for that, because actually the stock market is a very dicey place to, kind of set your career in.
Everything which is good in love, good in life is dicey, ma'am, including pretty girls.
Okay, well said once again. I'm going to pick up these one-liners and take it and just say it to people later. So that was amazing of him too. He really had belief in you. And do you thank him for that today? Like, do you really feel grateful?
I think I cannot thank him enough in life. I lost him in 2008. I still miss him. And we used to argue as if, he was a born socialist, I was a born capitalist. And my mother had made a rule, no discussion on the dining table. If you all talk, she won't have dinner. That's the only way she could keep both of us quiet. And we had fierce, disagreements and fierce, if he thought east, I thought west.
Really?
But we had fierce liking and love for each other. And I always lived with my parents. My mother passed away just 2 months ago. But a lot of people used to ask me, your parents live with you? I said, no, I live with my parents.
That's right.
And I think there is really only two gods in life, mother and father.
But how do you take a pick? How do you know when? And how do you know when to pull out, more importantly?
Ma'am, I can't describe, one thing I feel the most important thing to succeed in the stock market is your attitude towards the market. 2, 3 things. I think first thing is you must realize that the market is supreme, ultimately. But in the mid-set markets, do excesses. You must recognize those excesses, right? And you benefit from the excesses. In the stock market, something worth 5 sometimes sells for 50, right? And you must have an attitude that with time, everything changes and passes. See, most of us are affected by the stock market, what has happened in the immediate future, in the immediate past.
What is one tip that you would like to give to all the women who are wanting to now invest, I mean, men invest and they know about stocks, of course, but the women.
No, I think women also know and understand, but the problem is that tips are hazardous for health. And you can't make money from borrowed knowledge. And stock investing, like cooking, can't be taught, it has to be learned.
It has to be learned. So you have to waste some money and burn your fingers.
And you got to experience, because something which can't be taught has to be learned by doing. I mean, it's like cooking. My mother can, teach my cook everything, but finally what my mother makes is much better than what the cook can make.
So, but you're the recipe book, so let's open up a page and tell us something that you can, that like a thumb rule, I guess.
Ma'am, the quest to learn is a journey. I have learned much, but much is still unlearned.
Yeah.
So I don't think that despite people saying that I'm a guru or I know everything, right? But one thing I can tell you, markets are like women. Always commanding, always mysterious, always uncertain. Always volatile, always exciting. And it's not a joke. In my 25, 30 years experience in the markets, just as you can't have a good relationship with a woman by browbeating her or by bullying her, you cannot have a good relationship with the market by trying to bully it or say that you are the king is the market.
So you can never predict.
And just as why women have emotions, markets has emotions. And because it is basically a product of the thoughts and emotions of so many individuals.
Just tell me in simple terms, I mean, I don't invest at all, okay? Just tell me in simple terms and for viewers, what makes you buy a stock and what makes you sell a stock?
Well, let me take the second one first. I sell a stock if I have better opportunity and I need capital. 2, price is equal to PE, EPS multiplied by PE. If the EPS is peaking or the market recognizes the future EPS which is going to peak, and the P is unsustainable, that is the time to sell. Right? And markets do go into terms of madness. So always a time to sell. What makes me pick a stock is opportunity. No company, for example, I mean, let me make a SEBI disclosure. I am an interested party in this stock, Sterling Holiday Resorts, a stock I bought recently. I bought because I think the holiday home business in India, I mean, there are 2 crore customers who are potential customers, 2 crore couples, there are 20,000 holiday homes being sold a year, holidays being sold. So I think there is humongous opportunities. Fun, I look at opportunity.
What is the opportunity you see in CRISIL?
India's financial markets. You know, US economy went 16% of US GDP was financial services. In India, it's 3-4%, 5%. So the opportunity of CRISIL is essentially linked to India's financial markets. And then I will link to...
Explain that. I can see why you load up on bank stocks, you know, Karur Vysya, other stocks, but I can't understand CRISIL.
CRISIL, sir, if what is India's bond market today? What is the size of India's bond market?
So basically you're saying that as the bond market and other stuff expand,
absolutely.
Where will you go? You'll have
Who's
to go to
servicing the mutual fund industry? The opportunity for CRISIL is critically linked to India's financial markets. And I think if India has to grow as an economy, they're going to explode. We're at a very initial stage.
So in the 30 or 40 stocks that you hold and hold for long, relatively speaking at any point, each one you have a story that you can explain.
Right, absolutely. Second one is, why hold CRISIL, I tell you. See, you cannot, opportunity itself does not make a company profitable. It's a competitive ability. It's a business in which you cannot have new entrants. Then I think CRISIL has one of the best capabilities and reputation among the rating agencies in India. That gives it a competitive edge. And what a business profile. What cash flows? It's nothing but cash, cash, cash.
Who do you count among your mentors in the market?
Mentor is only one, Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala.
Has he had such a big influence on you?
Absolutely. You don't know how close we are. And we trade separately, we have no partnerships, nothing.
Give me a couple of instances, because you keep mentioning his name. I mean, have there been specific instances in the past where he's shaped your investment style, or you have looked up to him for advice? Why do you consider him a mentor?
Because primarily I've learned trading from him.
You need to take risk, but risks are very calculated risk, I can tell you. He always used to take calculated risk. And that discipline was there from day one.
Trading or investing?
Trading.
Trading.
Right. I primarily realized that more than intelligence, he has wisdom. Third, he doesn't teach, you have to learn. Right. Fourth, he has extreme patience and humility.
देख frankly तो ऐसा लगता है कि he used so much respect to me that it puts me in embarrassing situations so many times.
You know, then it's like a relationship very difficult to define. And I don't know. Without my father and him, I don't know where I would have been. He's really taught me in life, and more than that in human nature, he's taught me there is nothing greater in life than parents. To react coolly to everything and not to be afraid of anything. Not that I'm afraid. When I met him, he was an extremely rich man. I was not comparatively rich. And today I don't know. Maybe he has more wealth, I have more wealth, we don't know anything. Right? But our relationship has never changed. It's always the same. And the patience he has to hear other person's point of view is unbelievable.
When you first met him, were you a young trader?
I never used to trade that time actually. It was 87, 88.
Okay.
And I just met him on the streets of the Bombay Stock Exchange. I think markets will go up, but at a slower pace. Regardless of global developments, I think Indian markets will gain, but they will gain at a slower pace.